After my father died, I was having trouble supporting myself, and I was having a lot of problems getting a job. During the semester, I was so busy I would try to just live off of financial aid and stuff. At some point, my debts became greater than my income, and I ended up not managing my finances well enough and ended up evicted from the place I was living at. This was around the same time that I wasn't able to complete all of my coursework. I wasn't even really able to show up to class for quite some time due to my physical and mental health. And so then I ended up transient. I stayed with a couple of friends. I guess I overstayed my welcome, and that was pretty noticeable. And then after I ran out of friends, I was driving around from relatives' houses or from parking lot to parking lot, living in my car, still trying to hold together school and find a job and all of these other things. But at this point, I wasn't able to manage these things. My social relationships completely deteriorated, and I was not able to find any sort of work outside of the university. I had no previous work experience. Ended up coming back to live with my mother to try to regain shelter and food. I hadn't seen failure for quite some time, and what I found was that I was failing in every aspect, and I felt sort of defeated because I tried as hard as I could, and I felt like everything that I could, and that wasn't enough. So I got Maddie when I was going to A&M. Maddie was always there for me, even when I experienced at the peak of social rejection and isolation. She would always make me smile or make me laugh, or value me as a person, regardless of what was happening in my life. And so that was something that was very critical to me, because I didn't have really any support systems that provided that type of positive feedback or made me laugh or smile, which people underestimate the importance of from day to day. So she was absolutely invaluable to me throughout this experience, and continues even on days that I'm doing well and feel quite healthy, to be a very positive influence in my life. I was a student and an athlete, and I was a third-year engineering student, I really loved everything I did, and I did well until the semester when my life began to spiral out of control, and I developed some of those more severe symptoms of illness. Going into college, I suffered from essentially what was I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder from the extremely abusive environment I was in when I was living with my parents, and that was the reason why I left Austin to go to what ended up being like a hyper-conservative culture that I couldn't easily relate to, but it was necessary in order to undo a lot of the damage that was done from this environment that I was exposed to from all of my life. My mother suffers from herself emotional disorders, which result in extremely volatile, unpredictable, and abusive behavior. And so the last place in the world that I wanted to go was to where I had done everything in my power to get away from. I became disabled. I stopped looking for work at some point because I could barely have a conversation with somebody. You would ask me a question, and then 10 minutes later, I would be talking about, still trying to answer the question, talking about something completely unrelated. And I was withdrawing from social interactions, and a lot of my cognitive or intellectual abilities began to decline, and I couldn't even complete sentences.